Welcome to this Astrology Chat Live for January 25th, 2025. I'm Gina, and I'm happy to be here with you again today. I'm here every day to talk about the current astrology in general, and answer any questions you might have. I want to talk today about Mars trine Venus, which is exact today, but it's active 3 days before, 3 days after. It's one of the arrangements that I talked about the other day when I talked about how we have 5 points at 23 degrees. I will link to that video at the end here, and also to the one I did about the energy overview for the weekend. I really should have talked about this aspect of it specifically earlier, but there's so much going on. Just before we get into it, let me just show you everything else that is a part of the sky right now, which is why I haven't honed in on this specifically before. So this Mars-Venus trine is exact today, but it's coming into perfection and exactitude right after some really interesting interactions. So we have Uranus at 23 degrees. So that was sextiling Mars. That brings some excitement, some surprises, some energy to whatever's going on. We also have this trine coming in right after the Mars-Mercury opposition. And that could have caused some interesting conversations, some heated conversations, perhaps some new realizations. There can be something a little challenging about that. It's also worth mentioning that Mars is sort of in an interesting condition here, being that Mars is in Cancer, which isn't really Mars's favorite place to be, and Mars is retrograde. Venus, on the other hand, is exalted. So this is a really, in Pisces, this is Venus's favorite place to be. So this is a really interesting transit, and I'm excited to talk about it today. One thing to think about is what is working out right now. What's working out easily? What's sort of coming together that you've been working on? This could be between yourself and another. It could be between a feminine and a masculine, perhaps. Or it could be within yourself, within those two different sides. So it could be between you and another, or just sort of within yourself. And when I'm talking about that masculine feminine energy, it's really sort of a balance of being and doing, of sort of external and internal energies. So there may be a place, for example, if this is something that's working out between two people, it could just be that something sort of I feel like I'm confusing things. It could just be that energy flows really nicely between two different people. It could be that within you, it's easier to find that balance between sort of your intuition and following your guidance and taking action. So that could be the energy from which things start to come together. I think it's a really interesting part of this Mars retrograde in Cancer process, especially because of the interaction this weekend with Uranus and with Mercury. It's like there's some sort of a story that you've been working on. If you know where Mars in Cancer is in your chart, if you know which part of your chart is ruled by Cancer, if you know your rising sign, you can check the January horoscopes on my channel to learn more. It might be interesting to think about this life area for you and what you've been rethinking and reconsidering since the Mars retrograde began, the last few weeks. And how is that story sort of moving forward this weekend? What parts of it are coming together easily? Have there been conversations about it? So, you know, if it was in your 7th house, if Cancer rules your 7th house, if you're a Capricorn rising, then it could be that you've been working on relationship stories. And this is a part where that's starting to take shape and you're coming together in a more harmonious way and you're making progress and improvements. If this is falling in your fifth house, it could be that you've had a creative project that you're working on and you have some sort of breakthrough this weekend to some extent, or you just have some sort of intuitive understanding of what you need to do next. If it's in your 10th house, if you're a Libra rising, it could be a career story. You may have been doing a lot of thinking lately about some aspect of your work or career, and you could be having some insight or some important piece of information come together right now that's helping you understand that story. So that's really all about this Mars retrograde in Cancer part of the process. The Mars Venus trine, especially in water signs, suggests the potential for some healing, suggests that there's an emotional depth to this time, to this weekend. There could be, resolution in relationships, things healing or being resolved in relationships, perhaps a healing conversation or just some sort of a coming together that is really positive. Chances are it's sort of an emotional connection, or there's something about the coming together that's emotional with all that water, especially with Cancer. Yeah, that flow between intuition and action is really potentially a part of this. When I say what's coming together easily, that's sort of what I mean. It's like, where are you really feeling like all you have to do is just like push on the door a little and it flies open? Where are you feeling like all you have to do is just sort of put down a little effort and the rest just kind of comes together easily? Where is it fun? Where is it joyful, your life? Where is it easy because there's so much pleasure and abundance and positivity there? We might really have access to that right now during this Mars Venus trine. It's a great time for deepening bonds. And intimacy, it could almost be like a spiritual level of connection with another, with this Venus exalted in Pisces, especially with so much activity in Pisces right now, including the North Node. There's sort of a dreaminess coming into reality that could suggest some sort of, intuitive, almost, yeah, spiritual level of intimacy or connection in terms of those deepening bonds. It's just a sensitive thing, though, on all levels, especially with Mars in Cancer, especially coming off of this Mercury. So I mean sensitive in a few different ways, sensitive within relationships, within conversations. People could be feeling sensitive because emotions are so on the surface. And then also sensitive in terms of intuition, being able to pick up on your intuition and your inner voice a little bit easier than usual, especially when you focus on what feels easy. Is anyone noticing this? Hi, Jam. It's nice to see you. Some people, I just really appreciate how some friends keep coming back. It's nice to be building community this way. It's really what I wanted to do with this. As a matter of fact, I got a comment yesterday from a regular viewer who gave me her birth information, and I just wanted to say I didn't want to pull up your chart without your permission, but since you gave me the data, I wanted to comment about it and just take a little peek. And I just thought it was interesting that you are a Cancer friend. And I've been curious about how this Mars, and I know you study astrology as well. So I've been curious how this Mars retrograde is feeling to people with Cancer Sun. And even this weekend, with this coming together, with interacting with so many other planets, has there been a story coming together for you there? We also might know more in a month or two. Once this Mars starts to move direct, we'll really be able to fully take action on all the stuff that's kind of coming together in our heads right now. Um, I just want to thank everyone so much for being here, for watching, and for commenting, liking, subscribing. And it's kind of a short video today. I hope everyone's having a nice weekend. It's a really interesting one. I'll link to some other videos here that are relevant. Okay, thank you so much. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow.